Whenever I'm feeling stressed, I find that being beside water is a good place to calm down, whether that's the sea or, in this case, by the river Jabbok, as it was known in biblical times, here in the north of Jordan, in the fertile area of the country. You can see it's beautiful, surrounded with grass, with places where they're growing their vegetables, and even down in the river you can see fishermen who apparently today seem to be getting a very good catch. The river Jabbok was the place where Jacob really needed some tranquility, because 20 years previously he'd been estranged from his brother Esau. Jacob, you'll remember, had stolen the birthright, had stolen the blessing, and Esau, when he discovered it, said, "I'm going to kill you." And Jacob ran for his life and ended up working for his uncle Laban. Laban wasn't the easiest person to work for either. He changed Jacob's salary about 10 times over the period he was there. Jacob fell in love with his youngest daughter, but Laban secretly married him off to the older one, and he had to work another 6 years in order to get the younger one. And actually family relations was not that good. Even when he decided to go back and be reconciled with his brother, he stole away from Laban without even saying goodbye. He sneaked away with his wives, with his children, with all of his flocks and herds, and Laban had to come running after him and saying, "You don't even say goodbye to me?" But God had also cautioned Laban, "Be gentle and careful on the words you say to Jacob." And so they did actually manage to leave on fairly good terms. But now Jacob is on his way to meet Esau, and he is tense. He's divided his family and his herds into two groups because he thinks if Esau kills one, the other can escape. And then he sent a servant ahead to meet Esau, and the servants come back and said, "Yes, Esau's coming to meet you, but he's coming with 400 armed warriors." That doesn't sound like reconciliation. Jacob is very nervous. He is not going to sleep that night, knowing he's likely to meet his brother the next morning. And in fact, he doesn't sleep because in the middle of the night, he finds himself in a fight with a stranger. And they tussle and they wrestle all night long. And then dawn is coming and the light is coming. And he says to the stranger, "I'm not going to let you go unless you bless me." Because he realizes that stranger is no ordinary person, but is actually God himself. And God himself talks to Jacob, touches his leg, his hip, so Jacob spends the rest of his life with a bit of a limp, but also says, "Go in peace, I'm blessing you. Actually, I'm changing your name from Jacob, which literally means deceiver, to Israel, the father of a nation." And so the next day, the reconciliation happens. Jacob sends flocks and shepherds ahead, and then they eventually meet, and Jacob bows down 7 times in front of his brother. His brother throws his arms around him. There is a reconciliation. I wouldn't say that life is perfect from then on, but you know, life in families never is totally perfect. But the barriers that were there from 20 years past are broken down, and they live in harmony with each other, which is a challenge for families sometimes. Unfortunately, I've met some families where they haven't talked for 20 years, where I've tried to sit and counsel to them, what's the issue? What could bring you back together? What is it when your father is on his deathbed that can let you come and talk to each other and come back together as a family? And I've seen it happen. And when it happens, it is beautiful. When it happens, they're saying, "Why didn't we do this years ago?" And that's, in a sense, the blessing of families, and it's what God tries to share with us even from Eden, that a family is a unit that draws people together, that allows us to live a better life together. And today I'm challenged. Is there someone in your life that maybe you haven't talked to in a while? Is there someone maybe you've fallen apart with? And whether it's their fault, or whether it's your fault, or whether it's a bit of both, what can we do to have a Jabbok kind of experience, to cross over the boundaries, to reach out to the other person, to be reconciled, to have God's blessing as we live together in unity, in harmony.